Hello there, boys and girls. This is the Tattoo Genius coming to you again today. I've had a lot of things on my mind about tattooing. I've been doing this for a long time. I'll be 51 years old next month, and I've been tattooing for, well, just shy of 37 years. And I've seen a lot of things in this business. I've seen people come and go. I've seen fads and trends come and go. I've got a few things to rant about and talk about, so I'm probably going to jump around a little bit here and there, but this is just off the cuff, nothing pre-scripted, and I'm not going to edit this at all. What I've seen over the years is I've seen good and bad people, do and or attempt tattooing. Back when I started in 1980, if you weren't good at it, you didn't do it. You didn't put out there that you did tattoos if you couldn't draw, if you didn't understand shading concepts, if you didn't understand correct placement on the body and the flow and design, which all really needs to be taught professionally. When I started doing this, I was 13 years old and I used needle and thread. Shortly after that, I built a homemade tattoo machine. It's not a gun, it's a tattoo machine. I own guns and they don't look nothing like what I work with. So let's get that off the table right now. It's not slinging ink. It's called tattooing. There are proper terminology for everything. If you went to your doctor and he said, "Oh, we'll just slap some of this on it and yeah, be sure to, just don't pay any attention to it." You'd think he was fucking crazy. You'd think he was crazy. Excuse my language there. You'd think he was nuts. If your mechanic said, "Oh, well, your thingamabob went bad over your whatchamajig," would you go back to that mechanic? No. But when I started tattooing, like I said, it was needle and thread in my bedroom, built a machine, made a better machine in machine shop. And I knew I needed professional instruction in this. I knew I needed to be around professional people in this business. Even at 15 years old, I already knew and was trying to get into shops. But because I was not 18, I was not permitted to be in the shops. When I was 16, I called this shop about 100 miles from me, but it was like it was the closest one to me, being a professional shop. And I asked him how much to color in a rose that I had jagged in my arm. He told me $60, and I hung up thinking, wow, that's expensive, man. Those guys make a lot of money. Well, fast forward to 37 years later, it's not that we make a lot of money. We make a modest income being professionals. But, to run a professional business does cost a lot of money. It does take a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of your pocket to be able to offer this service to people on an open storefront base. Back in the 80s and 90s, if you were tattooing at your house, usually the local shop owner and some of his friends and or goons would come around and they would influence you to not tattoo out of your house, to actually seek a proper apprenticeship in a shop. Back in the 80s and 90s, tattooing was a walk-in base. There was no Google. There was no internet. The interweb did not exist. Not to us commercial people or general public. Maybe military, NASA, things of this nature, but not to us. So what we had is what we had, unless you were a good artist and you could draw things. So I did a lot of flash work. I've done a lot of drawing over the years. I am a very good artist. I dabble in several mediums. I do charcoal, I do acrylic, I do oils, I do pencil, I do pen, marker, chalk. A pencil on a napkin in a restaurant while I'm waiting to get my food. I may draw something and leave it for the waitress, I'm not going to demonstrate my artistic skills on here. This is about the actual field of tattooing itself. But we didn't have Craigslist where your bro could hook you up for $20 a sleeve. Well, you know, anytime any of my bros have asked me to hook them up, you know, I remind them that, you know, this costs money. You know, this costs money. This all costs money. So, how about this, bro? How about you go into work today, don't clock in, give them a free 8 hours of your labor just because you like where you work. Alright? Yeah, right. It's never going to happen. You're never going to go to work for free. So why would you expect someone else to go to work for free? I don't get it, you know? There's nothing free. Everything costs. Even my wife, when I tattoo my wife, it's not for free. She's got to take me out to dinner or buy me something that I need or want. Maybe some supplies for the shop. Maybe a bundle of paper towels. Maybe some antibacterial soap. But nothing's free because it all costs me. If it's costing me, it's going to cost you. Not you, but the customer, the client. It's going to cost them for me to do this to them. To run an open storefront business, our tax levels are completely different than your working tax levels. If you're a blue collar, 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever kind of person, then our tax levels are different than yours because it's a business. My telephone bill and my internet bill is 2 to 3 times higher than your home bill is because it's a business. You know, the kilowatt hours I pay for energy to run this camera and to run these lights that I'm doing this video under, my kilowatt hours are 2 to 3 times higher than your home kilowatt hours. So the money that we make, we have to put back into business as any business. Any business. It doesn't matter if you're at a music store. It doesn't matter if you own a deli. It costs money to make money. Here's a real quick breakdown. The owner of a restaurant, privately owned restaurant, what they do is everything is split into fours. It's split into fourths. 25% is food cost. 25% is employee cost. 25% is overhead cost, and the other 25% is profit. Now, out of that 25% profit, that's where the taxes, that's where the licensing fees, that's where the insurance comes out of, is that 25%. So if lucky at all, the restaurant owner actually makes 10 to 15, 17% off of that burger that you bought. So if he's got burgers on sale for $1 a piece, he's roughly making 15 to 20 cents off of each burger he sells as profit. Now that profit is what he actually makes his car payment, his mortgage, his home bills, his food to eat. Because if you own a restaurant, the food's not free. It's still costing you to eat. You're still paying to eat. It doesn't matter. People don't get this. People don't understand this. Then you get these home tattoo artists. You get these guys that come out of prison with all this nasty tattoos all over them, thinking that they're king shit in tattoo land on the block. Well, the problem is the block that these guys live on, because they're convicted felons, they can only live in a certain area of town, in certain apartments, because there's a thing called background checks now, that you got to be a good guy if you want to coexist in the general public. If you're not a good guy, well, they kind of segregate you over here into this block. Where I live on this block, you live on this block because you're a convicted felon. So now you think you're king shit in your apartment over here, but the guy 2 doors down thinks he's king shit in that apartment because he learned to tattoo in prison. He calls it a gun. He calls getting it tatted up. He calls it slinging the ink. You know, calls you his bro. Dude, I ain't your fucking bro. I'm sorry about the language again. Dude, I'm not your bro. You know, I'm a professional tattoo artist. I do this for a living. I don't do this for a joke. I don't do this for a hit. I don't do this for a six-pack or a bottle. You know, professional tattoo artists are not alcoholics and junkies. We're actually hard-working businessmen. You know, we belong to the Chamber of Commerce. We associate with the town elites that we're in because we are professionals too. We drive decent cars. We dress nice. You know, we wear clean clothes. We don't have our pants hanging down around our damn knees, showing our underwear to everybody. That's not the professional way of doing business. And that's not the type of business that I run, have ran, or have been associated with. So, tattooing over the years has taken a big change. You know, 30 years ago, this was a completely different business. You know, if you were a tattoo artist and you were good, if you weren't good, you didn't tattoo. But if you were a good tattoo artist who worked in a studio, you were kind of held up on a little bit of a pedestal because of what you did, because you had a specialty talent and technique. Now, everybody and their brother buys tattoo guns off of eBay and Amazon and the internet, and what they don't even realize is all that equipment is junk. The tattoo pigments are contaminated with lead and arsenic and other additives that are done in there from China, Taiwan, Philippines, you know, wherever they're getting this stuff from. Those tattoo machines you're buying, man, I could buy them off a Chinese website by bulk at 50 cents to $1 a piece. You know, this tattoo machine head here, I've had this machine head since 1986. And back then, I paid almost $200 for that machine head. I've done a little bit of work to it. I've changed the vise on it, you know, the springs and the coils and things. And it kind of did some match componentry, you know, did a little dollar coin there cut off for a spring retainer. But, you know, a good tattoo machine today is going to be $4 to $5 bills, $400 to $500 for a good tattoo machine head frame today. So, you know, you buy your kit for 25 to 30 bucks off of eBay. It comes with everything you need except the talent and the experience to run the equipment. You know, so if you're going to do this, boys and girls, seek out a professional apprenticeship with a qualified professional tattoo artist. Take your bloodborne pathogens classes. You know, take your first aid. Take your disease transmission control. You know, take a course from the American Safety Council on tattooing and or body piercing if you're getting into that. Learn correctly, learn safely. You know, the last thing we want to do is give something somebody that is they're never going to get rid of or is going to kill them. You know, you got to be safe with this. This business, like any other, like a hospital, if things aren't done properly, you can kill somebody. And do you really want that on your conscience? So that's why I'm doing this, these tutorials and these videos about tattooing, is to actually help the people out there that are interested in really wanting to learn to tattoo. I would appreciate anybody watching this if you'd hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. I'm going to continue doing these videos. First video I did was intro. The second video I did was about basic intro into tattoo machine tubes. The next video will be about the basic intro of tattoo machines. So you all have a good day. Until then, keep slinging the ink.